earlier, the next questions will be from me. Okay? For the two of you first, and then I will go to Sec and Sir George. Okay, so I think you mentioned about semiconductors, we know this. So now, to capitalize further on that question, what are the challenges for the Philippines for us again, to better capitalize on this Asian development perspective? Okay, I'll start with you since you have this.
Challenges of the Philippines, or challenges of China?
Well, I guess we both.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned, before me, semiconductors in themselves are fundamental, foundational technologies. I cannot advance AI without a solid semiconductor. I cannot continue machine learning without a really advanced semiconductor. I cannot create even better smartphones, better GPS without those semiconductors. And with the regulations in place, the United States has made it difficult for China to get the technology, not for free, but by purchase. And without that, how can they advance their own local markets? That I feel is the number one challenge for China. Now, looking at how embargoes have worked in the past, especially with what they did to Cuba, I have a feeling that China will find a way to advance their own markets, regardless of the effect of the embargo. The trade embargo on Cuba, for instance, when there are no imports or exports to Cuba for any motor vehicles, they developed highly skilled mechanics who ended up to now, those cars are still running. The cars you see in the movies, the 1950s, 60s sedans, are still running in 2023. So the shift would be, if I cannot get access to the technology, I will upskill my human resource. And that may be the way that China will continue its advancements to the technological race.
Actually, that's the fear and the opportunity. No? It looks like the world is being divided. And you can see the lines getting darker and bigger. And will the Philippines be forced to choose? Maybe we can ask that question. Did you want to say something on the education sector, Dr. Erwin? On the Philippines, the challenges in the Philippines in being able to better capitalize on the China's economic reforms.
I think, I just want to reiterate what Attorney Puso said. I think it's better to, we learn more and we can find more opportunities if we place in a more difficult context, like for example what happened in Cuba. So I think, we have a lot of our human resources, and we all know that we are exporting human resource from any parts of the world. And I think it's better to a very good starting point, springboard to capitalize on human resources here in the Philippines. And we know very well that many of the Filipinos, they are really good. Okay. And of course, I just want to mention the when it comes to advancement of technology. I think it's about time that we can learn from China or collaborate with them when it comes to the use of technology, especially in education. We want to advance our education, we want to achieve quality education, but how? Experiencing this new normal, we need more advanced technology in order to deliver quality education, not just in the rural area, but also in the not just in the urban, but also in the rural area. And how can we do that? I think we can learn from them.
Arlene got her PhD from one of the top universities in China. So maybe you can ask for some examples later on. Now on this divide, will the Philippines be forced to choose? Do we have to choose, or can we balance the two giants? Mr. George C. and then Senator Kit Tatat.
I'd like to give a little input on the education side. No? The Chinese system is different from the American system. The American system, in terms of training, is actually excellent. We have to say it's, having been to both sides, it's excellent. That's why people all over the world always study it. But there are two different technologies and aspects coming up. And so if the U.S. is restricting the technologies and things that can go to China, but we have to remember that China has focused so much on this education that in the PISA exams, the top 4 or 5 slots are Chinese in the whole world. So the top 4 or 5 and top
Chinese
8
provinces.
Chinese provinces in the country, and 80% of the top are East Asian countries. No? So that cultural factor is very important because we look at two things. One is in terms of advancement of China. China has more than 1.5. They have more than 3 times the number of graduates in the U.S. And then more of them are in STEM courses than the U.S. as a percent. So they are going to catch up. It's inevitable. But it can be slowed down by these restrictions. But what we fear is that because the restrictions have become so tough, nagkakaroon ng sama ng loob, but later on, galit yan. So, it might not be as open. We cannot expect as open society later on. So, tayo naman sa Philippines, we have much to learn. China has many things that the U.S. maybe, there's a practicality of decision making that's in China, in Asia, that's wala na sa U.S. U.S. need to be very practical. Now they're very political. So, we have to be very practical, but we cannot adopt this whether from U.S. or from China if we are spending most of our time on consumption and pleasure. Because yung Filipino, alam natin, as I was telling one of our interviewers earlier, they have the smartest people in the world because all over the world, they're using Filipino scientists and finance people, analysts, even the US, many of the top companies use Filipinos to manage their finances. Pero what are we doing here? We are weak on implementation and execution on the ground. So our people have to spend more time, use this technology to learn from YouTube, from the best in the world, from YouTube, from whatever sources. No, you don't need Harvard now. You don't need Stanford now. All of them are there. And I'm a Chinese by blood. I have a hard time understanding the language. I have a hard time understanding the system. So if wherever we learn, but then the entrepreneurship system is very strong. So let's learn from that. And the only way to learn from that is if we're going to spend time on it. So we're looking at these countries and what the politics are and whatever. We want, if we can, help our people to spend less time on politics and spend more time trying to learn how to be productive. And this is how we learn from everybody. And I was saying we're now looking at China and US, but the predictions are in 10 years, India will be the number 3 largest economy in the world and possibly might even surpass the US soon and then possibly surpass China. So the opportunities are all there. It doesn't matter which country it is, the markets are there. It's up to us.
Just to